Hi, Gooby here. Today, I'd like to talk about what's alive, what's dead, who's a person, and who's an it. I'm continuing to listen to the audiobook Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. She's a Native American who's also a botanist. And I am really enjoying listening to this book. It talks about it's really braiding two stories. I guess a couple stories. One is the stories of science from her botany background, braided with the stories of her ancestors, the Native Americans who have lived here before Westerners came here. And her story of being a person in between two worlds, and in this world that we live in right now. It's a really fascinating story. Today I was listening to a part about language. Her tribe they're called the Potawatomi. I may have put an extra syllable in there. I'm not sure. I think it's Potawatomi. A tribe that originally was living around the Great Lakes, but they got moved several times by the government of the United States to eventually be spread in multiple different parts of the country. But her family was sent to Oklahoma. Oklahoma is where I grew up. There are a lot of reservations that Oklahoma was designated for. But Robin, she talks about the Potawatomi language, and I found this very interesting to think about. She was saying that the Potawatomi language has it's approximately 70% verbs. Now, English is very different. It is about 70% nouns, and less than 30% verbs. And I asked my wife, my wife speaks fluently in actually a couple languages, but Korean is her first language. And she said that Korean has a lot more verbs and nuance than English as well. And I found that very fascinating. And Robin Wall Kimmerer, she brings up this point that when you refer to things, they don't have a personhood like you or me. We don't refer to each other as it or that. We refer to each other as them, or him or her, or who, rather than what. There's a very interesting linguistic divide between something that has personhood and something that doesn't. I find it wild to think that the language that I speak shapes my perception of the world and my relationships with it. I first learned Korean when I was a baby, but I quickly forgot it. I can barely speak any Korean, unfortunately. I wish I could. But when I was a child, I just wanted to fit in so well with the other kids who were not Korean in Oklahoma that I decided to just speak English. That was my choice, and I wish that I had kept my ancestors' language in addition to English. But I was listening to this story that Robin was telling, and I was thinking how powerful the structure of language is, the syntax, the nouns and verbs and pronouns. For instance, there are trees here. Are trees things or people? Am I standing amongst a bunch of tree people and I hear a bird in the distance calling? I can hear a bird person somewhere across the river. Doobie and I, she's here too. She's covered in dirt. I'll show you real quick. Here's her dirt covered face. You want to say hi to the channel? You want to say anything? Doobie is definitely a person. She is not an it. Doobie and I walked through the forest to get to this riverbank. This riverbank has water that is filled with silt. The water is opaque. Well, opaque once you get past about a foot. It's milky, and it's very interesting looking because it's got glacial silt coming down from Mount Rainier, one of the volcanoes, one of the tallest mountains here. But we walked through the forest to get to this riverbank, and we saw all kinds of mushrooms growing, and I think those are people too, the mushroom people. So I've been standing here with tree people. As a dog person, I'm a human person. Bird people, mushroom people. I think that makes sense to me. It makes sense. Rather than thinking of trees as things, as birds as things, mushrooms as things, robbed of their personhood. How does that tie in with nouns and verbs? Well, this is kind of like mind-boggling to think about. But in her story, she was talking about how there's verbs for all kinds of things, like verbs to be a bay. Like a bay is like a water inlet of ocean. That's a verb. It's not a noun. It's to be a bay. Not a bay, but to be a bay. What does that mean? How is that different? Well, let's think about this river. I'm sure that in Potawatomi there's some verb that means to be a river, not a river. It's just not a noun, but to be a river. To be the process of being a river. This river is flowing. It is water constantly changing. It's got ripples. It's got fish in it. Oh, there was a giant fish that Doobie found that was fish that was dead up the shoreline. It was this long, partially eaten. And Doobie was smelling it. She found it. But yeah, there's giant fish that live here. And it's flowing down from the glaciers up in Mount Rainier, and it's going down here. It's passing by some towns. It's passing by forests. It's collecting water from all different streams. And eventually it will go to the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. In the ocean, the water joins this giant body. I'm sure that there's a verb to be an ocean too. And then the water evaporates, goes up into the sky, and then falls down as precipitation on Mount Rainier, the big volcano, and the other surrounding mountains as either rain or snow. It's taken up in the people of the forest, the trees, the mushrooms, the birds, the deer, the elk. I've seen deer or elk tracks. I can't tell the difference along these riverbanks. The water's taken up and then is passed back into the soil, and then into the streams, into the creeks, into the rivers, like this one. So to be a river is to be part of this whole life. To river is to be connected with all of creation. Creation's not even the right word, because that implies that someone created it. To be part of everything, the universe. That's to be a river. It's also to be a human. It's also to be a bird person, a dog person, a tree person. It's a totally different way of thinking about it than just river. If I think, just river, I think, water. Okay, I need water to survive. If I think just river, I think, body of water. Okay, maybe I could canoe up or kayak upstream, or just float downstream. Like maybe it's a means of transportation. Think of river as a source of water to maybe plant to divert the water. Hello. It's a funny bird call. I don't know what kind of bird that was. It was big too. It's like this big, chunky body. Almost looked kind of like a duck body, but it was flying. It had much bigger wings. So it's a bird person saying hello. If I think of the river as an it, I think of ways to use it. I think of ways that it could benefit me. I don't think of it as its own entity, as its own personhood, with its own wants and desires, and likes and dislikes, and consciousness. But I'm here with a river person. That's really powerful. I've talked about how stories shape our reality. They shape our perception. They shape our relationships with each other, how we relate to other people, and other beings, and other things. But this goes even deeper. Just the structure of language itself, of different languages, affects the very same things, how we relate. Why is English so full of nouns, so full of things? Well, I don't know, but I think it has something to do with the way we've been living for a long time. The way we relate to the other beings that we share this planet with. I think English is a product of how we've chosen to live. And that's a way of living that values material wealth over spiritual, emotional wealth, over connectedness. There's something very isolating about the way we live. I saw a friend that I've been friends with, for a really long time, 20 years. About 20 years. I saw my friend, her husband, my wife, and then I made two new friends that were my friends' friends, and we went duck pin bowling. Never done that before. It's kind of like the pickleball version. As pickleball is to tennis, is what duck pin bowling is to real bowling. And we went duck pin bowling, and it was a lot of fun to just hang out, and we chatted and caught up. And last time I saw her and her husband was beginning of the summer, and it was good to catch up and see their kid, and I made two new friends. But I probably won't see. I may never see my new friends again. Maybe I will. Actually, I probably will, because they have a lot of similar interests, like going hiking and backpacking. So I'm pretty sure that if I go hiking or backpacking with my friend, the new friends I made will come along at some point. But I was thinking that I don't really see my friends very, very often. I probably won't see that friend and her husband, who I'm friends with now too. I won't see them probably for until the holidays. Maybe Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll have a friendsgiving, just friends meeting up for Thanksgiving. I think of my other friends that I have, like Whiskey Rye. The last time I hung out with him was when we went hiking near here to a haunted campsite. Boy, that was so scary. Oh, that was a couple months ago, and I've texted with him, but he's off to the Caribbean for like a month. He and his family do that. They go scuba diving like every day, and he brings back a lot of cool pictures of undersea people. All these fish and eel and starfish and lots of cool stuff. But yeah, I want to hang out with him, but he's gone. And I have another friend that I make a point to see at least every 2 months. He and I used to work together, so we've worked together. We went to residency together, so we've known each other for 17 years. Yeah, it's a long time. But I only see him every other month. I catch up. The rest of the time, I don't see them. I really feel isolated in this way of life. Like if I was still working, I would see more people regularly. I mean, if I was still working at my last job, I'm working doing this YouTube channel. But this YouTube channel, I'm out in the wilderness with my dog. I got my dog's company. I'm really grateful for. Hey, I'm really grateful for your company. I love you. Thanks for being here with me. I'm really grateful for her company. But I don't come out here with other people. We haven't seen a single soul out here. Oh no, a single human soul. See, this is where language gets so tricky. Because I'm surrounded by souls right now. All of these trees. There's fish that I can't see underwater. There's the soul of the river and the mountain and the sky and the sun. I'm surrounded. But yet I think, oh, how lonely I am. I'm just out here with my dog. And we're all by ourselves. But this is not true. It's not true. We're surrounded by all kinds of people. I hear bird people somewhere over there chirping. I learned something new today. I guess I am not as isolated as I thought. But when I'm at home in my apartment, it's like the apartment is dead. Like the drywall, the wood floors, the ceiling. It's not alive. They're not alive. I see my wife. I'm very grateful for her company. She started her new job, and so she's busy during the weekdays. She's really liking her new job a lot. And I'm very grateful. She's very grateful for this. In America, in the United States, you have to have a job to get, essentially get health insurance. But even though she's got a job, to have me on the health plan, we have to pay an extra $400. But that's way cheaper than Cobra, which was $1,800 a month. And the state, for a while we were on that, and then we were also on the state, like really cheap insurance. But really cheap was still $800 a month. But now that she's got a job, now her insurance is included with it, and then to add me on is $400, which is way less than $1,800. So that's good. But why doesn't this country have healthcare for all the citizens? I mean, we're literally the richest, most powerful country. We're the big bullies that bully the rest of the world. Like, why don't the citizens of the United States have healthcare for everybody? I mean, yeah. Well, that's a digression. I appreciate her company. She's working from home. She has to work from home for several of the days, so that's really nice. Doobie appreciates that too. But there's something about this way of life that's very isolating, or feels that way. I feel isolated from other people, human beings. Well, I should say, so I gotta be, language, the thinking about this, I have to think about things differently. I feel very connected to these people, tree people, bird people, river people, mountain person. Every time Doobie and I come out here, I always talk to the mountain or the forest, and I announce that Doobie and me, Gooby, we're here in the forest, and we ask for safe passage, and that we're really happy to be alive with you. I say that to the forest or mountain, wherever we are, and that we respect you as a person. So I guess I do have a lot of connection with a lot of people, but I didn't even realize that. I wish I had a little bit more connection with human people. But actually, that is a lot. That's not true too. I've got this YouTube channel that has like 567,000 subscribers right now, and not that many people watch every video that I make. But like the last video, I think I posted it about 5 days ago, and it's got 15,000 views on it. The Mariners Stadium, the baseball stadium for Seattle, the Mariners Stadium, when it's set up for a concert with people not only in the stands but on the playing field, like set up for a concert. That stadium holds 18,000 people, and 15,000 people watched the last video. I guess I'm way more connected than I think. I'm glad I thought about this, because I was kind of like moping around the last couple days thinking, whoa, I'm just like disconnected from people. Like, feeling sorry for myself. I guess I'm not disconnected. There was a big protest this past weekend, and I went to support my neighbors, and there were like thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands. I don't know if it was 100,000, but there were so many people out on the street. But that one, I didn't feel very connected. I could feel everyone was there and they showed up for whatever reason they show up. The main reason is to protest the current government of the country I live in. But everyone has a specific reason why they want to do that. But everyone shows up and everyone's like walking shoulder to shoulder. Some people are dancing, some people are singing, some people are chanting loudly. Some people are just holding signs, some people are laughing. Some people are there with their kids. But despite being surrounded by so many human people, I felt two things. I felt a community that, like, oh, my neighbors care about stuff. They care about what's happening to our neighbors and ourselves. But there was also something profoundly isolating about that event, and it really troubled me a lot the last several days. And I still haven't quite put my finger on what exactly it was that was so isolating about it. I think part of it is that it was a gathering of fellow villagers to oppose something. But I I think something that would be more powerful would be a gathering to uphold something, to cherish something. I think that would have a completely different energy. It was, yeah, that gathering was, there was something that it didn't make me feel very good. I actually did not feel good for several days. I had to come out into the forest yesterday. Doobie and I were looking for some edible mushrooms, and I just had a funk from Saturday, and I just had to sit in the forest for a couple hours, and I felt better. I was here amongst the people that I love. I love the people here. Do you hear the bird? The bird person? There's a couple. I think they're chickadees. Yep. This one's curious and keeps coming a little closer. Let's see if I can capture it. Phil. In there. They're really tiny. I'm happy to be amongst the bird people. Well, I felt a lot better after coming out yesterday. And I guess I'm not as alone as I thought. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to share was I really appreciate some friends that I have online. There's some friends that I meet up on Discord, and I've known some of them for like 8 years. And we play this one particular video game together. Not every day, but most days of the week. And then we just chat and like catch up on what's happening with each other. Majority of them are Canadian, some are American, some's from the UK. One is Birmingham. I really appreciate those friends. I talk to them the most. I mean, I talk to my wife the most. And I talk to Doobie too. But I talk the next most is my Discord friends. There's just a handful. I really appreciate them. I appreciate being connected with them. Well, I guess I'm not so isolated as I thought. And this channel, and talking with like thousands and thousands of people that comment on this channel. I appreciate the people that comment on this channel and share. Like they want to be friends, a community. I really cherish that. I appreciate you watching this video and commenting. Sometimes there's people that are mean and they want to say hurtful things, or they want to stir up conflict, and well, that's not welcome here. There's plenty of places that someone can do that elsewhere. I really appreciate this community that we have on this channel. So I guess I'm more connected than I thought. It's amazing what just a slight tweak in thinking about language and how I use the language, just a slight tweak can give me a totally different perspective on what my life is like. That's really cool. That's really cool. Well, at the beginning I said I was going to talk about who is a person, what is not a person. And I think that most people, or all the things that I share this world with are, I think, people too. And then I also said in the beginning I would talk about what's alive and what's dead. Now that is an interesting question to me. What is alive and what is dead? Is the river alive? Or is it dead? Well, I did see a fish that I would say it was dead. Like, it wasn't moving, it wasn't breathing, it was half eaten, and it smelled bad. It was decomposing. That fish is dead, but the body itself is alive, teeming with all these bacteria, decomposing it. So when I point at the fish and I say, that fish is dead, what do I mean by that? I think I mean the consciousness that was in the fish that perceived itself as a fish is gone, but now it's that body that I'm pointing at and saying it's dead is still alive. It's changing. It's yeah. Maybe everything is just alive. It's just like a shifting or metamorphosis. It's a metamorphosis of consciousness from one form to another. From the fish to a bunch of bacteria to bits of fish that were eaten and now became part of the consciousness of an eagle. Maybe there is no death in the way that I think of death. Maybe it's just life. It's just a bunch of life. And it's just constantly changing. Now that's an interesting one. That really gives me a lot. That would make me think differently about just being alive too. And also dying. Maybe there is no death. Maybe it's just life. Oh my gosh, my favorite bird. Favorite bird is here. Hi, American Dipper bird. Thanks for saying hi. I was just talking about people. Swimming. Yeah. American Dipper bird swims. Oh my gosh, we got to see. We are so lucky. We were blessed to see an American Dipper bird come say hi and then dip in the water and swim a little bit before it flew off down. Oh, it's actually swimming in the waters over there, hunting for food. It It's my favorite bird. It flies, it swims, it hops, it bounces like this. It's got a really cute call. I haven't heard it call though. It's got eyes that can focus underwater, so they can catch its prey, which it swims underwater. It's got solid bones instead of hollow bones like most birds, so it can sink underwater better. And its wings are flippers too. Really cool bird. It only lives where the water is clean. If the water gets polluted by humans, or the forests are cut down so that the water gets dirty, because the forests clean the water before it gets into the river. If the water is not healthy, the birds cannot survive. So if you see an American dipper person, that means that river person is healthy too. Yeah. Well, life is full of mystery. I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to finish this video by talking about a very mysterious story. Something that happened not too far from here. I'm near the Mount Rainier volcano. It's over that way, not too far. You can't see it because of this mountain, but if this mountain wasn't there, you would see this giant volcano. But past that volcano, Mount Rainier, slightly to the right, is another volcano that erupted in the 80s, called Mount St. Helens. So here's a fascinating story that I heard last night. 1999. Right now it's 2025, so 26 years ago. There were 14 foresters. That's people that their job is to cut down forests and replant them. I don't know how people do that job. I would feel terrible cutting down forests. But they do replant trees. But I'm getting distracted from the story. Go back to the story. There's 14 foresters on a mountainside, probably something like that mountain over there. And the forest was clear cut down below them, and they were planting new trees. Because that's what humans have been doing here, is cutting down clear-cut forests and then replanting trees, and then like many decades later they come back and they cut it back down, and they just alternate where they're cutting down. I don't think it's a very healthy thing to do for the forest here. Again, I'm getting distracted. I'm going to try to stick to the story. Okay. They were on this mountainside, clear-cut forest, so you can see really far. And they're up on the mountain and they're looking down. There's a herd of elk down at the bottom. And then they were working, planting the trees. This is in February, so it's cold. They're planting trees, and then one of them sees what looks like a parachute coming down, and gets his buddies, hey, look at that parachute. And it comes down, and then it's like below them because they're on the mountainside. But then instead of just falling all the way down to the ground like a parachute would, it hovers above the elk. And then they realized, wait, this is not a parachute. This is like a weird circle thing that is rotating. And it's rotating, but it's got a slight wobble to it. So it's like rotating in a circle, but it's like wobbling a little bit. And it goes over this herd of elk. And then one of these elk gets lifted up underneath this disc. They described it as like a gold color with a little bit of red on one side and a little bit of white on the other side on the top, because they were looking at it from top down, because they were up on the mountain looking down at this about like 400 meters down to where this thing that was probably about like 10 feet across, or like 3 meters or so across, was hovering over this herd of elk. And then this female elk, just starts levitating off the ground underneath this thing that's wobbling and just floating. And then this disc that's wobbly starts rising with this elk. There's one elk. And the foresters are looking at this just like spellbound by what they're seeing, and afraid too. And they see the disc and this elk come up, start rising in the air, and then it looks like the disc is trying to clear the forest, because there's a clear cut and then there's the edge of the forest that's still alive. It clears the top of the trees, but the elk is not quite over the trees, and so the disc has to come back around and then do a circle to get higher, so that the elk underneath this circle disc can clear the trees. And then and the foresters, the dipper bird came back. I'm going to pause the story real quick. It's over there, drinking water by the branch, the rock in the branch. Swimming again. Oh, I was waiting. Oh, no, it jumped out of the water. What a cool bird. Bye. It's on the other riverbank now. So these foresters, they're watching this thing try to pick up this elk and try to clear the top of the trees, but the disc clears the tree, but the elk doesn't. So the disc starts to like move in a way that it looks like it's struggling, and then it comes back around into the clear cut with the elk underneath and does a circle to get higher. And they're looking at it from top down. They're looking down on this whole thing happening. And then they see the elk go into the disc, like the head just like merges into the disc. And then this thing flies off. Wow, what a weird story. 1999, February, Washington. Not too far from here. That way. Well, some reporters came and investigators came and talked with the foresters, who did not want to be publicized. They didn't want to lose their jobs for talking about something that makes you seem crazy if you talk about it. I'm talking about it, and you may think that I'm crazy talking about it, but I'm just talking about a story that people talked about 26 years ago here, like not too far from here, where 14 human persons saw something that they couldn't explain. Mystery of life. Well, the investigators came and they looked around. They interviewed the guys that saw this, and then they looked around for any abnormal elk. They found a dead female elk. No gunshot, no wounds on it. It was dead, and it had ticks on it, and the ticks were dead too, which was strange to them, because if an animal dies, the ticks like go away and find another host but this animal was dead, intact, with dead ticks on it, and there were no scavengers preying on the carcass. The carcass was left alone by the other animals in the forest. That's a weird story. It reminds me that we don't know everything. Anyone who thinks they know everything about life and what all this means, what this whole thing is about. I think anyone who thinks they figured it out, well, they're probably not right about having figured it out. There's some strange things about being alive, like this story of this. I was going to say object. I was going to say this thing that was flying, this flying disc. Maybe that's a person too. Maybe that's whatever it was that took this elk is a person too. But we don't know them very well. Life is so full of mystery. I made a video not too long ago about the unknowableness of being. That there's some things in life that you just cannot know. It's impossible. Like, I cannot know what's happening on a planet orbiting Alpha Centauri. This is one of our nearest stars. It's 4 light years away. I cannot know what's happening there right now, because even if I could see with a magic telescope that could see that far away with great detail, the light that's hitting the telescope is 4 years old. So I don't know what's happening there right now. But maybe there is a way to know. But it's not in any way, any convention that science knows of. There's a lot of things that we don't know, and I think that's part of what makes being alive so cool. Because if we knew everything, if you could predict everything and you knew and understood everything, well, life would be kind of boring, I think. Because there's things that we don't know, like what's going to happen to you and me, what's going to happen to the forests and the mountains. Are humans going to destroy their home and make themselves extinct? Or are we going to find a way to see that we are connected with nature, that we are nature, we are part of nature, all the other beings are persons too, and that we need to find a way to live harmoniously with all the other beings that we are surrounded with. Are we going to figure that out? I don't know. It's very interesting. It's an adventure. What the heck is that flying disc being person that was interested in elk? I don't know. Did that actually happen, or was it made up? I don't know. And that's okay, because I'm alive. My doggy's alive. You're alive. This river's alive. All of the tree people are alive. The American dipper bird and the chickadees and whatever that giant bird was that went overhead, they're alive. The mushrooms, there's a lot of mushrooms that are alive here. And we're all interconnected, and I think that's pretty cool. And it's okay that I don't know a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'm just here. And I'm not as alone as I thought. Making this video makes me realize that I'm not alone. Neither are you. You're not alone either. Well, I'm gonna go look for some mushrooms with Doobie now. We saw a bunch of different kinds. We saw boletes, fly agarica, the Amanita muscaria, the classic like red with white spots mushroom. We saw, I think, little tiny baby chanterelles, golden chanterelles, but they were so tiny I couldn't identify them 100%. So we're gonna go look for some bigger chanterelles and hopefully have something to cook for dinner. There's a whole rhythm to mushrooms that I'm still learning. That's a talk for another time. Bye.